Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come in and sit on down because today we're going to talk about Goodwill pickers. Yes. Chances are you've been to a Goodwill thrift store at some point in your life, or you've at least heard of it. People donate their unwanted stuff and customers can browse around and potentially buy something decent for relatively cheap. All right, relatively. Goodwill Industries is a non-profit organization founded in 1902 by a man named Edgar J. Helms. And after collecting goods and clothing from wealthy areas in Boston, he hired less fortunate people to repair and resell them. All right, you take fancy rich people stuff and you have the poor people come in and they'll fix it up and then you sell it to the poor people for a profit. There you go. This is what started Goodwill, which is not only a thrift store, but a network of over 150 autonomous organizations worldwide that aim to provide jobs and rehabilitation to less fortunate people and those with disabilities. Sounds like a pretty good deal, right, Nick? You're helping the poor, you're helping the disabled.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? While this company came from humble beginnings, it was evolved into something much more chaotic and dangerous. So today, we're gonna look into Goodwill's shady business practices, as well as the never-ending war zone created by the obsessive Goodwill shoppers. And let me tell you, there are some obsessive shoppers out there, all right? Goodwill, despite seeming endlessly charitable, is not without its controversies.
Goodwill
like with
brands, I love
everything,
those.
you're gonna have a little something shady, but Goodwill just, it goes off and it says, you know what, we're a charity, we're a non-profit. And that's where this thing gets a little dicey, in my opinion. Goodwill uses a large percentage of the revenue to fund training programs for those that struggle to find work, which is a good thing. They also pay enormous salaries to those running each individual organization, and some CEOs, like Stephen Loughborough, received over $904,000 in 2022 alone.
This is a nonprofit.
It's a non-profit organization, right? I mean, it's an important job that he's running, Nick. What do you think?
Like I said, non-profit organization, but so is the NFL, and those motherfuckers get paid literally like $100 million a contract. So is the MLB, so is the NBA. They're all non-profit, technically on paper. So, I mean, is it non-profit for real? Like,
think that somebody in a non-profit should be allocating those funds, or does it seem like a Ponzi scheme to just be like, we'll take a large portion, but then we pay our little crew handsomely? Is that fair or unfair?
I think it's unfair. I think if you're a nonprofit, just like the Hank Hill episode, remember when they freaked out? We made profit.
We made profit. While it's common for nonprofit organizations to pay their higher-ups good salaries, they are typically scaled down from traditional for-profit businesses for the sake of public perception, because once again, for-profit is different than nonprofit. Our company's not supposed to make money. We're supposed to take everything that we make and give it back to whatever organization. For these people, the people that can't find work, people with disabilities, that kind of stuff. That's the code. At the same time, if I can get a crisp mill off the top of it, why not? Part of why Goodwill customers are still critical of this, however, is due to their belief that disabled workers are exploited by the nonprofit.
I'm going to show you guys how my
brother, come
style
on,
went
man.
from this.
We're not worried about these ads, bro. I gotta clear out these ads, man.
Why not? Part of why Goodwill customers are still critical of this, however, is due to their belief that disabled workers are exploited by the nonprofit. Okay. Due to a loophole in the Fair Labor Standards Act, Goodwill is able to get away with paying those with disabilities less than a minimum wage.
Pennies an hour? Pennies an hour? There's no way. Some disabled workers pay just pennies an hour. That cannot be real. Like, I get they're disabled, but that just cannot be real. Obviously, that's not legal. How are they getting away with that? How are they getting away with that?
Paying those with disabilities less than a minimum wage.
It makes me furious.
At least they got a job.
You found work, but at what cost?
Just a penny.
This has been reoccurring issues with Goodwill for several years, with reports even in 2011 showing that some were being paid as little as 22 cents an hour.
That's
Is this
fucking
China?
crazy.
Is this China?
What are we supposed to pay him? Look at him. It's like a regular employee, like just like putting stuff on a shelf.
22 cents an hour. Bro, what? That is so what is 22 cents an hour, bro? Like annually. 22 cents an hour. Annual salary. That's $22 an hour. I said 22 cents. Brother, how are they surviving off of this? An annual salary of 22 cents per hour is $457. That's a year. What do you buy with $457 a year? You can't afford anything. It's making me furious.
At our
Pay the
college,
people.
Harry used to work with people. I forget what they're called.
That's
but they were
crazy.
disabled people working for the college. They would pay them based on like the output because they're like, oh, you only
You
stacked.
did nothing. At that point, if you're paying somebody 22 cents, is it just to give them like a place to be? And if that's the case, then why even pay them?
Yeah.
It's like a sense of purpose. It's like giving like a child. When my mom used to work for this lawyer, he couldn't see at all, but my mom would hand him blank checks to sign to feel like he's still doing work. So it's kind of like that.
Here we go. A big, important check signed off. And she even gave him like a crayon, a crown. But this pen smells weird. That's fine. It's like a coloring book. He's just like, all right, here I am filling out these checks for my important business. In 2019, due to a minimum wage increase, a branch of Goodwill Industries in Springfield sent letters to a dozen disabled workers that were part of the job skills program. They were told they were fired until rescinding their decision and apologizing due to the vicious pushback.
Bro.
What am I supposed to do? Pay these?
What? That's fucking crazy. You already pay them 22 cents an hour. The state pushes minimum wage, so you're already under minimum wage. They push it higher, so now you have to pay them more than 22 cents an hour. But you're probably not going to pay them what the new minimum wage is anyway. So you fire the disabled people. That's actually fucked.
These freaks?
That's actually
No fair wage for you. We can't keep you. They take their collars off. Go free. Run. In 2022,
That's
a woman that
actually
had previously
fucked up.
worked in an assisted living facility posted a TikTok to discuss their qualms with Goodwill. According to her, many of the boys and girls living there worked at Goodwill due to their disabilities being paid less than $1 per hour.
Slave labor, man.
Slave
That
labor.
is
Goodwill?
crazy. I did not know that.
Slave labor. Like, I'm sure the person that is like running Goodwill is making, I mean, millions and millions. For a nonprofit, you're just like, can you not throw them off $7.25 an hour? During the job, one woman had
yo.
soiled herself. Instead of sending her home, they gave her a choice: either keep working or swap to a used pair of underwear sold in the store. She ended up keeping her own pair on and finishing the rest of her shift in her own filth. I
That's
personally,
insane.
as a shift lead, would have been like, why don't you go home? How many more hours you have left in your shift? We'll pay you.
Okay, how is Goodwill not out of business then? Like, if all this is happening and it's true, how is Goodwill not out of business? Like, that is fucking correct. Look at this.
Sold in the store. She ended up keeping her own pair on and finishing the rest of her shift in her own filth. I personally, as a shift lead, would have been like, why don't you go home? How many more hours you have left in your shift? We'll pay you the 66 cents. You know what I mean? How gross is it too? Go take one of the used panties. Also, let me tell you something else. If you buy something from Goodwill or any thrift store, you don't go home and wash it before you wear it.
What's wrong with that?
I don't trust that those people are actually washing the clothes before they put them out.
I think they wash them, but I'm thinking
they say that they wash them. I think I saw like a
Ew.
blood stain on a shirt one time, and I was like, I think that's when you toss in the trash.
oh, that'll come out.
Also, it was like a little kid shirt. I was like, Jesus Christ. Today's episode sponsored by Gamer Subs.
I'm so sorry, Papa Meat. I'm so sorry.
For those that wanted to fight for better treatment in the workplace, their efforts to unionize were met with aggressive and overwhelming union busting efforts. In 2024, 3 notorious union busting firms were hired, pressuring people into one-on-one meetings and having their work heavily surveilled. It's funny to think that they brought in union busting for like mentally disabled, physically disabled people, and they're just like, your job's not that hard. What the f are you talking about? And this is far from the only controversy that they've had. In 2017, in Sacramento, Goodwill was fined over $100,000 from safety violations that led to a 26-year-old dock worker being crushed to death by heavy machinery. A
Holy
truck
fuck.
driver accidentally released a cable holding a trash bin, which had fallen on a worker named Abraham Garza. His skull was pinned between the bin and the trash
Jesus.
compactor, killing him soon after. David Goody, who witnessed the tragic accident, was blamed for his death due to supposed negligence, despite warning them on multiple occasions about the company's inadequate training and potential safety
Oh
hazards.
my
He's like,
god.
I don't know how to operate this.
What am I supposed to do? Regardless, they denied that the fatal accident was their doing and terminated Goody a week later, banning him from that location entirely, as if he's like, what, I can't get my shorts here anymore?
Do you think he kept coming back?
Yeah, he's like, the deals are too good. Goody, you gotta get out of here. Get out of here, Goody. It seemed that Goodwill had a track record of injuries due to improper training, and in 2014 and 2017, 2 people were killed in forklift accidents, and apparently the test to obtain the forklift license was impossible to fail and took less than half an hour, which I want to say I worked at FedEx for a little bit. It took, I think it was like, I'm not even joking, like 4 weeks of training. It wasn't half an hour, let me tell you that. One of the most fascinating things about Goodwill is the chaos surrounding Goodwill outlets. I did not know about this phenomenon, which is
Oh, he's about to break it down. Cool, bro. Goodwill outlets are the only way I go to Goodwill. Like, I'm not going to a regular Goodwill to purchase used like Not even used clothes, like abused clothes. I'm not purchasing abused clothes. At that point, just go to the store. But I will say, the bins is where it's at. You pay like $1.52 per pound of clothes. Like, you could get a steal. And if you spend like an hour or two in there, you could find some good shit, dude. You could really find some good shit.
Which is different from the stores. Like a Goodwill store is going to be different than the Goodwill outlets itself.
Fire.
And there's a whole culture behind Goodwill outlet shoppers. One of these, I guess, parasites is what you might want to call them. The guy who helps you make all the puppets.
It gets dangerous as fuck in there, though. I'm not gonna lie. It does get
On
dangerous.
this channel, Adam or Creature Kid is, I mean, a fiend. He's addicted. And I think it really does build addiction. Like, I think that the people who are these Goodwill outlet shoppers, they're addicted to going. When retail Goodwill stores fail to sell their products, they end up being sent to Goodwill outlets as a last-ditch effort to get rid of them. You throw your unused shit into one of the Goodwill donation bins. From there, they're sorted, they go to a store, and if it doesn't sell at the store, it goes back here. Sometimes, too, if there's excess overflow, they'll just go straight to the outlets. And if it doesn't sell at the outlet, it's going into a landfill. Other items include those that are in poor condition and not deemed fit to sell at traditional retailers. I don't really know the process of how they actually go through and sift through stuff, but just know that the Goodwill outlet, it has everything. Everything you could ever want.
I had an insanely lucky day at Goodwill outlet. Paid $30 out the door. Oh my god. There's no way. There is no way he found all this. Holy shit. Yo, he could resell this. What would he make? $30? He could resell all of that and probably make close to like $500 if he finds the right people. I mean, this is some vintage stuff, and it looks decent. Like, it doesn't look like it's trash.
It's in this outlet. It's insane. The outlets,
Good
also
flip.
referred to as the bins, have a
Yes,
much
sir.
bleaker vibe compared to a normal Goodwill. The items are loosely organized and piled into large blue bins for customers to purchase by the pound. And every 30 minutes, bins are wheeled out by the workers and replaced with brand new bins full of new trash, basically, for you to sift through. Every 30 minutes, you're getting a new fix, which people will be there all day. I mean, I think it's people that, one, hoarders, Adam, and also people like resellers, people.
I was gonna say resellers are big, dude. I've seen a guy there. I mean, I don't know. I went as soon as they opened just to get the best stuff. I went like at, I want to say like 7 a.m. to the bins. And then I came back around later in my day as I was like passing by just to see if they had any more stuff. And it was like almost to close. So it's like 7 to 7. And the guy was still there. Like, I don't know if he left or not, but the fact that he was still there was like fucking insane. It didn't look like he left. His cart was full of shit. But he was like, I don't know. He was dripped out. He had mad shit on.
That go to the bins or
Definitely
they'll go
a
to these other
reseller.
places and they'll sell stuff on like eBay, Amazon, all that
But
kind of
people
shit.
make a living
Well, some
off of
people
this stuff,
visit
for
Goodwill
real.
outlets to grab a cheap vintage shirt or two. Others take it far more seriously. Their main goal is to grab the most valuable things they can find so they can
that's
resell them
sick.
online for higher prices. Typically, there are some, like I want to say, there are some collectors and hoarders. You know who you are. You might be watching this right now. These people are referred to as Goodwill pickers. Because this has become a legitimate way to make good money, these people can very quickly feel threatened by neighboring shoppers, and some will sit and shop for an entire day, becoming territorial when others start to encroach on their space. Hey! I'm looking
What
at this
is
one.
that?
Get out! And they have to box them out and that kind of stuff. Start with people's money, dude. They're so desperate to resell an item that looks valuable that they will sometimes pay people directly in order to transfer it over to their cart. This means they're willing to pay people to have something that still needs to be paid for inside the store. There are many stories of people stumbling across cold hard cash within these bins, like a woman who found $2,000 inside of a dirty jacket, or another
There's
customer
no way.
finding $40,000 hidden inside of a used couch.
That's grandma's little nest egg.
I mean, how
fucking
crazy is that?
bullshit.
But you hear
40
these
grand.
stories, and of course, people, they'll look through everything. I mean, spend meticulous hours digging through stuff in hopes of finding that. I mean, I would buy a couch, stab it open, and be like, at what point is it, it's worth it? Many bin shoppers advise people to check all the pockets of certain garments, as there's good chance that you might find hidden treasures. Because there's an unlimited potential for big finds like this, shoppers revert to their base instincts, doing whatever they can to survive in an environment
gorilla, look
reminiscent
at
of the
this.
ruthless
There's a
animal
bunch of fucking
kingdom. Right?
gorillas
We're basically
in the
calling
fucking
them like
bins.
gorillas. We're calling them cavemen, I think is what we're saying. Hordes of people wait behind the doors until the very second they open, descending onto the products like pigs to a bright blue trough. Some stores have shoppers that are so feral that the staff has to scream, push, and shove in order to get them behind the designated line as they begin the next rotation of bins and items. Back! like, crawling over. I want to look at that purse. I want to look at that purse. I like to think that the Goodwill, like the staff too, has like batons and we talked about the people earlier getting 22 cents an hour. Those are people at like retail stores. There's no way they're putting handicapped people in these bin spots, are they? I mean, it really, I mean, like pushing those bins, it looks like, reminds me of the fucking Indiana Jones thing. The kids in the carts, whatever. I mean, it reads like, I mean, it looks like slave labor, dude. One poster online admits that he simply does not have the energy to rummage around the newer bins because aggressive shoppers will easily plow through you to get to them. He compares the experience to being a weak, injured animal forced to feast on the scraps left behind by a pack of vultures.
Yeah, if you're not going there to play the game, bro, you're not making. If you're not going there to play the game, you're not finding anything, bro. You're not finding anything. Like as soon as a new bin comes out, there's not thousands. There's like a couple, like tens of people gathered around it, shoulder to shoulder, bumping you, pretending it was an accident, being like, my bad. And then they reach over. Dude, I grabbed his shirt before. I grabbed his shirt and a guy took it, like snatched it from me and just looked me in the eyes. It was like a Mexican dude and he had like a face mask on still in 2024. Like looked me in the eyes and still just snatched it and ran away. Never seen the shirt. Could have been fire, could have been trash. Who fucking knows? I don't, because he took it from me.
It's like, God, dude, get over here. So I can't look through the Chicago Bulls jackets anymore. I'm like a little bird. He also vents about t-shirt bros, referring to vintage shirt-loving people between 18 to 30 that seem to travel in packs, which is true. That's like a huge thing online of people going and like the garage sales and all kinds of stuff for vintage clothing nowadays. You know, it's just like a popular way to resell stuff online. And also, hype beast. Shopping alongside crowds like this often results in physical harm, something that online communities can endlessly attest to. And according to one man, an entire printer was thrown at him out of nowhere from an aggressive shopper. Some have even posted pictures of their injuries, like the woman who specifically shopped at the outlets with her mother in order to act as her bodyguard and protect her from overly aggressive shoppers. And one day, a woman purposely pushed a cart towards her, smashing it into her shin so badly that she almost threw up from the pain. She ended up giving up on returning ever again due to the fear of getting injured. Listen, dude, don't hate the players, hate the game. Right? One disgruntled shopper explains how she was bitten by a crazy woman who wanted her to move away from an item she was reaching for. It's not uncommon for outlet shoppers to be threatened or attacked with blades either. In one instance, a man witnessed a shopper slash their own friend's neck over an item they both wanted. What?
Excuse me?
Another outlet shoppers to be threatened or attacked with blades either. In one instance,
someone slashed his friend's neck with a knife. Did he live? Did they keep her going through the bins? She did. It was awful. Police everywhere, news, etc. What the fuck?
A man witnessed a shopper slash their own friend's neck over an item they both wanted. What? Another shopper saw a man sprinting around the store, swinging a machete at people. He had to be tackled by guards or removed from the store.
Bro.
In one story, a man found a mug with the words, "Fuck you," on it. The man put it in his cart, only to be nearly stabbed outside by a meth head who was furious over him, taking all the good loot. Getting into pirate territory now. On many occasions, there have been full street fights outside the store due to disputes from competitive shoppers. Even young kids will get into aggressive confrontations over minor disputes, and one shopper was shoved by a Gen Z kid who wanted to grab an item, only for an older man to retaliate by flipping him like a quarter and knocking the wind out of him.
Big old stand on that
People
one.
that are experienced Goodwill pickers know that it's important to bring a large blanket or other type of material to cover the items in the cart when they step away to dig into the bins. Otherwise, you can run the risk of a shopper seeing your haul and stealing from your cart when your back is turned. I bet you there's shoppers that bring baby diapers. They're wearing diapers. Some people will even shamelessly engage in a tug of war with a complete stranger for a garment if it is potentially worth anything, either to them or monetarily. Stealing is a rampant issue to the point where some people will crowd around the exits just to swipe things out of your hands. Like other people are like, the Goodwill staff are like, whoa, what can we do? They're here to stay.
I've never had that happen to me. That's actually fucking crazy. I would smack a motherfucker if I was leaving after I purchased stuff and then you're trying to steal my shit. Like,
things can escalate even further when shoppers encounter organized groups of people that show up with the goal of dominating the entire.
Oh my gosh, yes, bro. I went to one in Fort Worth that was like that. It was a group of kids and they would literally, there's like 7 of them and they're just holding around all the bins and they know each other. So obviously they're like, well, they're just grabbing literally everything because they could look at it together later. It's so
their
freaking
store. This is
annoying,
detailed in
bro.
a wild story by an outlet shopper. They were delighted to find a
So
selection
annoying.
of designer products in the bins right for the taking. Oh, out of nowhere, 5 or 6 overweight women entered the store. Uh-oh, overweight women.
Oh yeah, you're not pushing them out the way.
5 or 6 overweight women enter the store alongside a man that supposedly, this is what they're reporting, he reeked of. They started targeting random groups of people and harassing them. The shopper even overheard the smelly ringleader directing the large woman to shove older people out of the way. Ew, shove them. Falls over. Their goal was to intimidate the more reserved people so nobody would come for their items they wanted. When someone tried to approach them, they seemingly pretended to be deaf and started acting confused about what was going on around them.
Crazy.
Huh? What?
It's not that
Hey,
deep.
me? Yeah, it probably could do without that, but shoppers aren't even allowed to film inside the store. People suspect that it's not just to preserve people's privacy, but to persuade people not to show just how chaotic the outlets on a day-to-day basis are. Also, I think too, because there's so much broken glass, there's illegal shit you could find, all kinds of
Hell
stuff.
yeah,
I
I've
think
seen
that
some
if you were
crazy
able to
shit.
record stuff and you were able to do that, I think that there's more legal cases that could show up as well. You could cut your hand on glass, or you could find drugs. I know I think Adam or Mariah, she found a gun. Some people will
No
sneak in
way.
cameras to make videos showcasing the life
How do
of the
they have just
Goodwill
like illegal,
reseller. But not all the
illegal
people
or
at a
illegal
Goodwill
firearm
outlet are
events, and
aggressive.
nobody
In
saw
fact,
that.
some are
That's
just
crazy.
straight up odd. There are people that would enter the store specifically to pick up and smell the dirty underwear,
Ew.
having zero intention to actually buy any of the products. One man in particular made people so uncomfortable that he was banned from the store.
That's fucked up.
No, it's not. To go in there and be like,
It's not hurting
Oh,
anyone.
Sniffing
yes, you
nasty,
are.
Dirty Goodwill underwear.
like in a way, he's hard for sure. There's no way he's like, oh, I mean, like, come on. He's probably like, oh, of course you'd be like, oh, come on. You can't smell some used panties? He's like,
Freaking
uh-oh,
sick.
period panties. Puts it over his head. Walk around, he's like, they call him Frankenstein. One freaking shopper recounted a man that would show up just to sniff the used bedding and furiously masturbate on them almost every night. How about that one, Nick? How about that one?
That's different.
Send him to jail.
If you're masturbating,
Send him to jail. How do you put, bro? You gotta be a different type of. Oh my god, you gotta be a different type of disgusting to whip out your meat in public and just start. Bro, just start stroking it in front of everybody. Like, there's so many people, bro. Not even the fact that there's so many people, which is why are you doing that in the first place? Keep your meeting your parents, brother. God damn.
that's
Why do you
different.
think the guy's going? He is hard. Does it not make you uncomfortable that a guy is hard, actively hard? If I told you right now when I was recording, I'm like, I record only when I'm hard. That
That's
would be
fine.
that'd be
If
a
that's-
workplace.
If that's
We need to put a curtain on your door or something. There needs to be. You need a lock on your door.
how many people, like when you go to Costco, how many people you think are hard?
I would assume not a lot.
But they're out there to roam free.
Okay, let me tell you the difference. This: if you went to Costco, if somebody
Break
went
up
up to
for
like
no
a
reason is
panty
crazy.
section, a guy, he had a Costco. He is hard. Does it not make you uncomfortable that a guy is hard, actively hard? If I told you right now when I was recording, I'm like, I record only when I'm hard. That
That's
would be
fine.
that'd be
If
a
that's-
workplace.
If that's
We need to put a curtain on your door or something. There needs to be. You need a lock on your door.
how many people, like when you go to Costco, how many people you think are
Who's
hard?
walking
I
around
would
just
assume
randomly
not a
bricked
lot,
up?
But they're out there to roam free.
Okay, let me tell you the difference. This: if you went to Costco, if somebody went up to like a panty section, a guy, he had a Costco dog and he was eating. He was like, is that something where you're like, well, that guy should probably not be doing that?
Now,
Well, okay. Well, now the puzzle's kind of creating a bit of a picture for me. What are you talking about?
in Costco, that's weird. I just feel like in the outlets,
In the outlet, to
it's
me, that's.
trash. It's trash.
But see, that's what makes it even weirder. Is that they're dirty clothes and he's going in and smelling them. That's what I'm saying.
it's gonna be thrown away anyway. Who's buying used panties at the outlets?
I'm not advocating that it's not trash. I'm just saying that a man going in there and only smelling panties, that's a character I probably wouldn't want around myself or anybody else.
You've kind of changed my mind.
Twisted my arm. Anyways, the guy who masturbates on beddings, on many occasions, he would go until completion, only seeing him get chased out on one occasion by angry staff members. One time. Other times, people are just like, okay, that's a hazard zone. Throw
He's been
your
to the
jacket
same
over that.
place
See,
on
that's a
30 different
biohazard.
occasions,
Because
but got
now if
chased
someone
out
touches that,
once.
We're done. Some customers would enter the store for no reason other than to pee all over the items and leave right away, which is kind of fucked up. What do you get out of that? Besides, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a lay epic troll, but like what?
It's like a dog dominating their space.
Because people shoot their loads on people, or they pee on people sometimes, and I think it's like a sexual thing too. To me, it's all sexual. One man attempted to rob the store of multiple shirts by putting them all on at the same time, and a staff member watched him put on 13 shirts before trying to inconspicuously leave the store. I like how he's like walks in super skinny, walks out, and he's like,
do you think the staff member's like, I want to see how many shirts he can put on?
100%. When he was caught, he tried to play dumb until eventually giving up and taking off all the shirts, including the ones that belonged to him. He walked out of the store shirtless. I would too. I'd be like, I'm sorry, there you go. You guys can keep them, resell that one. My Tasmanian devil dressed up as Scarface shirt. You can keep that one. And according to one man, he saw a man buying a toilet seat with shit all over the bottom of it, holding it close while eating a donut.
Fucking just... Bro.
Even without the insane shoppers wreaking havoc, the outlet is plenty dangerous on
American society is we're so screwed, but it's so
its own.
gross.
People often wear sturdy gloves due to the potential to touch drugs, broken glass, or other disgusting substances. Pee, piss, whatever. Pee and piss are the same thing, but many have reported finding mice dead and alive deep inside the bins. And in one instance, a live baby bat crawled out from under a used couch.
I thought I was going to say a live baby.
I was really hoping it was just going to end on baby. If anything, f it, keep baby. According to another post, a shopper was bumped by a woman's cart only to have her hand slam into a broken glass and slice her thumb wide open. The shopper ran over to a first aid kit the staff had provided, only to find that it was completely empty. Oh, because the items in the bins are not thoroughly checked, it can lead to some insane finds that can be extremely dangerous. One man opened a pocket knife that was covered in some sort of illicit substance that caused him to be high for several hours. Oh, is it a Coke knife?
Could be maybe LSD.
Something like that. If you open it, he's like, what is that?
Yeah, and Coke makes sense.
Yeah, he sit there, he opens it up, he's like, whoa. Yeah, he didn't complain. On various other occasions, people have found loaded weapons. And in Miami, a shopper found a gun that he assumed was a toy. He started playing around with it, only to end up shooting someone for real.
No way. It was loaded?
How does that happen?
Oh, this has a good weight to it. Bang, 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 bang.
I was gonna say okay, first off, you find a gun. Crazy find in the bins. You're playing with it. You don't open the chamber to see if there's a bullet. Like, you don't like, is there something in there? You don't empty the mag, see if there's something in there. You just pick up a gun and you shoot it at a person. Not even like a wall or an inanimate object, bro. Yo, we're so screwed as a society.
What do you mean? I thought it was a toy. Yeah, right, dude.
We're so screwed
That's
as a
just an
society,
excuse.
bro.
That's an excuse again. A lot of this stuff is definitely, wait, this is real? In Florida, one shopper brought home a baby bouncer still in its original packaging. After gifting it to her friend during a baby shower, however, it was revealed to contain a Massberg 715T semi-automatic rifle. How'd you not know that? You know what I mean?
Just buy it without opening the box.
That's a huge find.
It's
Actually,
so
can I get that
crazy.
back? It's my baby's now. At one person's Goodwill, he watched someone discover a flare gun in the bins. He immediately grabbed it, pointed it at a ceiling, and shot it without second thought.
That's actually really crazy.
Children.
It really is. It's my baby's now. At one person's Goodwill, he watched someone discover a flare gun in the bins. He immediately grabbed it, pointed it at a ceiling, and shot it without second thought.
Mindless children.
It really is. Oh my God, what? Oh, it's real. Whoa. I like the idea of that's just an excuse for everything. Oh my God, wait, this is real?
To be fair, I feel like I would be one of those guys.
You are smelling panties and you're doing whatever the fuck you want in there, apparently. Another deadly weapon that people report finding on multiple occasions are live grenades.
A grenade? There's no way.
In Oregon, an entire building had to be shut down after a World War II era grenade was found in the bins. That is awesome. Do you think it was like the pipe bomb one? It's like a long and it has like the little thing at the end.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
maybe. Yeah.
Those are sick. I always like throwing those in video games.
That was World War II?
I think so.
That was World War One. I don't know.
Splitting hairs, dude. In Augusta, someone discovered a box containing military-grade grenades and mortars. A bomb squad had to come down to secure the items before they could potentially detonate. And there is no shortage of weird items that have been found at Goodwill outlets. People often find abundance of sex toys, like dirty dildos, silicone asses, and blow-up dolls. And some people have even found used condoms. Adult diapers, full diapers, and fresh turds have been reported as well. Other strange finds consist of things like large glass jars filled with mercury, as well as bloody hospital gowns. How the fuck did that end up there? Also,
disgusting.
mercury? Oh, the alchemist down the road donated all of his stuff to Goodwill. Given how insanely cheap it is to bring home massive amounts of products from Goodwill outlets, people have found that it's extremely dangerous for people with hoarding tendencies. People who have hoarders in their family despise Goodwill because of how it leads them to pile on more and more needless junk. But to be fair, you're gonna find that junk anywhere. If it isn't a Goodwill, it's a trash can. It can be wherever.
Yeah, they're gonna jump in a trash bin and get
So
it.
it's a hoarder's paradise, but still, you can't point the finger there. You know, and talking about this Goodwill outlet thing, I had to go look for myself. Is it as crazy as people make it out to be? These people online,
Is he
this
gonna
culture,
go?
is
Did
it
he go
as
to the-
crazy
No
as
way.
they say? Well, we had to go find out for ourselves.
Let's
and see if we could
go.
find some sick stuff. So let's go.
Let's go.
We should leave $100 for them to fight.
Ew. Why would you touch that? Nice.
These are one of the McDonald's buckets I didn't get.
Are you serious?
It's a boo bucket.
Oh, really?
There we go.
What do you think was in the boot?
Mousetrap. No.
Look, it fits.
Throw it on, dude. Throw it
Put it
on.
on.
It's too small. It won't work.
Sure, man. We got some nice flooring here for Nick's office.
Yeah, so I can play on the ground.
So you have tummy time in your room.
Hey, sir, there can't be any recording.
Oh, no. Okay.
What the fuck? This is the
Hey everyone, this is Adam at Creature Kid, and today we're talking about the Goodwill bins. My favorite place to shop that I try to get everyone to go shop at. Hunter and Nick like to make fun of me about the Goodwill bins, but my love and passion for it is more of salvaging things that are moments away from being thrown away. Some of the things we found over the past couple days.
The bins is one of the trashiest places on earth, and you can't film in it. Like, what's the policy there? What am I gonna find and record that's like top secret? Like, it's literally garbage. Literally garbage.
This is a tiny, beautiful, silver-plated piece here. This is probably 1920s. We're gonna use it for a movie prop, so it's exactly what we need. This tiny little violin here is about as tiny as it can get. This is a perfect prop we're gonna use. That only cost a couple dollars. If you know Pokemon, you know what that is. Shadowless Blastoise. At a perfect time, we were working on a project that was The Thing influenced. This was in a box of DVDs. It's Pro-Life, which is a horror movie, autographed by John Carpenter right there. One of the weirder things is a gold tooth in the bottom of a purse. You see it with the root still on it. This beautiful watercolor painting. I mean, look at that. Insane. The only thing written on it is a little cutout, Angel's Cooking, interior living room. That's from a script, right? Interior living room. It's a set. I figured out Angel's Cooking was a working title for a movie called We're No Angels, which is a Humphrey Bogart film from 1955. That would have been 10 minutes away from going into a dumpster. Let's look at what Maddie found today at the bins.
So I'm a huge fan of vintage luggage pieces. This is actually a vintage carry-on from Escort, which is a pretty cool luggage company. This weird little cowboy purse. This purse, which is very tacky, but it is Loungefly, and that is a really sellable brand if you're trying to make an income off of resales. I think this is maybe one of my favorite pieces that I got today. It's a little Captain Caveman. You can always find really good office supplies, usually still sealed. Painter's tape is so expensive, but at the bins, it's by weight. Adam actually picked this one out for me. 1978 full color calendar of Elvis, made in 78. I just finished a short film that takes place in the 70s, and a lot of that stuff came from the bins that was authentically dated. This is probably the best thing that we found today. This Blockbuster membership card. This is from 2007, so it's a real antique. This is a VHS tape. It contains the OJ trial.
In short, the bins is the best.
It's great for the environment. It's great for history. The bins is just the greatest.
There's no downside to it, except for where's the money going? 'Cause it's not going anywhere good, I'm sure.
It's always fascinating to see just how quickly people let greed take over them when coming to the face-to-face with a good deal. Whether it's Black Friday deals or cheap used clothing, it seems to turn people into complete animals, going absolutely feral. As dangerous and insane as Goodwill outlets can get, people swear by them as a way to find hidden treasure and always come back for more. If you're going to attempt visiting one of these stores, just make sure to do your research and prepare for the worst. You never know if you'll end up being accidentally dosed by a loose needle or find a live grenade.
Or a baby.
Or a baby. Hopefully you find a baby. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
W video, W Papa Meat, and I think that might be it for a stream, bro. Like,